makes tremendous amount of it. I think that is where companies will lose. I don't think cutting off marketing, even though that seems like the most obvious thing for any CEO or anyone to do, is the right strategy. I think building that brand part of it, building a content practice for your business, that your brand is something that people now seek and go after and pull. I think that is the strategy that people should follow. I think there again, just like everything else, as I'm sorry, I don't mean to paint a gloom picture. There will be winners and losers, and I see that a lot of companies are trying to do that part of it, and I think that's great. That's what I think people should be doing. And also, just to add something, I think this is the greatest time to learn digital marketing. I think this is the time. What are you doing? You are at home almost every day. You're bored more likely. There's only so much TV or whatever you can do also. You can binge watch one or two things. And after that, you're like, if you really invest 2-3 hours and learn digital marketing, probably can be a side hustle. It can be something that you can generate money out of on the side. You can do it for your own business. And I think that's a tremendous opportunity right now, which you can't do with the offline advertising. So I personally think digital marketing is in a really, really unique place. I think people can really benefit from doing it because you can do it from home. And let's face it, all of us are still looking at this all the time, right? Every time.
Yeah, so I think that's true. I mean, we are always on the phone, and during these days, of course, there's most of the people doesn't have anything to do. They are mostly on the phone. So why not make it a money-making device after all, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, that's
absolutely. I think the
yes,
greatest
Ram.
thing about humanity is the fact that our resilience, our ability and our desire to outlive any adversity. And I think, as I said, there's no doubt we are gonna survive through this. Will everyone survive the same way? No. Will there be casualties? Yes. Will there be winners? For sure, like every other instance. I think if you make the right moves and if you do the right things, I think you will come out as if nothing else, even if you survive through this, after that, you are in a really great place to really, really succeed. I think that's the way I look at it. But you must do all the necessary, lifting right now, the discipline of learning, discipline of, investing your time at the right places, keeping your mental health up, and you need to do that. And I will also think that world will not set the same way that we used to. I mean, what the world we saw in January, the way we used to work and engage and do, I think this is an industry transformation point or transition point. After this, I think a lot of industries and the world as you know it will differ. I don't think it will go back to be the norm. That's my personal opinion.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we see some companies, it's a whole paradigm shift happening at the moment. So I think companies will rethink their strategies and,
Yep.
focus on sustainability solutions,
Yeah.
sort of things as well, and
Yeah.
go on more digital online shopping. So sort of things, I think that would be, people should adapt to that as well. I mean, in Sri Lanka also people are now shopping online, doing everything online
Yeah.
these days. Yeah. So
Absolutely. I mean, if nothing else, just to add on that, sorry, Krishan, one of the
yeah,
things that I think we must notice is the fact that this had allowed a tremendous acceleration for IT. That would have never happened otherwise. I mean, the level of people, kind of people who now have to get used to this calling on Zoom. I mean, fortunately for me, last 10 years of my life, this has been my life, and I'm kind of used to it, working from home, all of that. But working from home 24/7 was something I'm also getting used to, right? We used to do coffee shops and all kinds of weird places, and also, being able to provide services to your employees to be able to be productive. How do you measure people whether they are productive or not? Is it just 100% trust? So I think what is really going to happen is the fact that there is going to be like this amazing acceleration of kind of a amazing acceleration in terms of ICT adoption. Sorry, I just got a little distracted. I'm also just like you at home. I think I thought I heard my son. Yeah, so that adoption of technology, I think by at least 5 years got accelerated as a result of this last 2 months.
Yeah. So I think we had a lot of discussions now, and I would like to open up the questions to the viewers here or the listeners here. Of course, if you have any questions, you can direct them to Rohan now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing is that I don't pretend that I know all the answers, but this is my observation and what I think it will be. And if you all ask me the questions, and I believe we can have a healthy debate for sure. As I said, I try not to be confused, but I can always be wrong.
Yes. Yes. Anyone up for a question? You can go ahead
Anyone?
now.
Hello. Hi, Prasad. If you guys find it hard to speak and it's muted or whatever, you can leave the message on the text as well. Messaging, we can probably pick it up from there as well.
Rohan, can I throw a question at you, Rohan?
Please do.
This is Bradley. Rohan,
Yeah.
now one of the things that will happen with the virus, I mean, sooner or later, this is going to turn the curve.
Yep.
Right. As it turns the curve, Sri Lanka being, thank God, less affected, what can SMEs do to reach the overseas markets, given the access they have? You talked about our connectivity, given the access we have.
Yeah.
What is that we can, particularly our SME sector, the young entrepreneurs, what is that they can do to reach out to these markets?
So I think it's definitely the sweet spot thing we are discussing, and what I personally believe that we should be doing. I mean, when this happened, I think a lot of SMEs, including very large conglomerates, I don't need to mention names here, were kind of embarrassed how unprepared they were in digital. Right? I mean, yes, we can speak a little bit about so many different kind of justification as to why it was not the case and etc. But ultimately, people were very much frustrated with the lack of progress they have made in a time where it's almost considered to be like, oh, it should be there. I mean, it should be like when I switch on the light, the light should come on and electricity should be there, like digital part of it. So I think what SMEs need to do is to really, if I were, I mean, an SME owner, if I have a product or whatever, I think I will definitely immediately build my digital capability in terms of making sure I will build it in 3 phases. One is I will start ensuring that I have a steady, stable, something that reflects my brand values or my brand identity in terms of what I would call a home turf, which it could be your website or which it could be your social media page, whatever it is, that I have something that I am satisfactory, is a representation of who I am and my company or my product or service. The second one is that I will identify the 3, 4, 5 places, markets that I would like to be present, where I would like people to think about me as a brand or a product or a service provider. The third one is that how do I connect these two by using content? So building the right content, maybe it's language, maybe it's whatever it is, maybe it's humor, what platform, whatever it is that you're hoping to use, building that. So these 3 are the fundamental building blocks I would be thinking about. And I think it's a great thing that, this program that you all are running actually covers all of it. But, I think if organization invest the time and build that, I think they are in a really good place to, once the curve is turned and we are ready to take off, they are in a good place. But there are a few things. They must have the logistical side in it if you are not doing a digital distribution. If your product is distributed through the digital network, there's absolutely no need. I personally don't even recommend you to wait until a curve change and just do it now. But I think otherwise, if you look at most of this, retail sector, where the struggle have been not so much even taking orders, but it's just that there weren't enough people to pack it, there weren't enough mechanism to deliver it, etc. Then that leads to frustration even more. So I think, you need to make sure, understand, are you build your brand and content and strategy and digital presence and making sure there is enough pull for you when we turn drone, but also that you are consistently being able to deliver on your promise to your customers if you have to have a distribution network in place. I think those are the two things I will definitely be focusing on right now.
Yes, Ron, I think there is a question from Udita through the chat.
Yeah, let me read that out. I'll read that out and I'll try to answer. I have a question. Assume we are 100% into hospitality industry. Do you think unrelated diversification into IT, retail, etc., is a good strategy for hospitality industry going forward? Because as you said, hospitality industry with a retail arm can use their resources in retail, which is a very valid solution. No, Udita, let me just explain what I said. I think what I said was, let's face it, the hospitality sector is going to be impacted for next couple of months, if not for half a year, like another 6 months, right? But you do have employees. It's not like you can say, don't worry, we don't have a job or we are closing down. It's the same thing that is happening in manufacturing sector as well. I'll touch manufacturing sector a bit differently. But today, if you're a conglomerate and you have a retail arm, and retail arm is massively short-staffed because you don't even have people to pack and get these items delivered to the doorstep. Why not use the people who are staying without jobs, which is much more frustrating for people? Say short term, assign them to the retail sector to do the work for them. I think that is a reassignment of work, what I mentioned for it. I think hospitality sector will come up maybe another 6 months, 1 year time period. But during that time, you need to have the staff ready, because in hospitality, which is primarily a services industry, you need to have the people factor ready and trained and all of that, right? So if I answer your question, I am no way means that hospitality industry is going to die off forever. No, it will kind of be very silent for about 6 months, maybe 1 year time period or even more. You still need the staff needed. But the question is, during this interim period of where there's no one coming to stay in your hotels, what are you going to do to cover the overhead cost of those employees without letting them go? Is to repurpose them in another industry that need that manpower and staff strength. So that is what I'm saying, with the opportunity of retaining them as employees for your organization. That's what I think. And I think it's a time for collaboration. I think leading hotel chains who doesn't have their own retail arms will speak to, I'm sorry for saying this, like maybe ABC hotel chain can speak to Arpico, for example, and say, hey, listen, can we repurpose our staff for you 3-4 months? And given